1986 Stubbies Pro Michelob Cup here at Oceanside Harbor in beautiful Southern California. I'm Beth Binger with David Stanfield. David, the competition's fierce today. We've got some heavyweights from all over the world.
Stubbies. The Stubbies event brings out the best in the world. It is a great contest. In fact, the Stubbies Australian event in Burleigh Heads brought on man-on-man competition back in 1977, and now it is a standard among competition format used the world over. And the best in the world from Australia here, a past two-time world champion, Tom Carroll, who's been a bridesmaid here. 2 second-place finishes the last 2 years. He's trying to make it into the finals this year, along with the points leader, Mark Occy. He's great. He's here. And there's another guy by the name of Dave MaCauly from Western Australia. He has won the last 14 man-on-man heats in professional surfing, and he is on a hot streak. Then you've got the Americans. You've got Brad Gerlach from Encinitas, California. He is on a stroke. He just wants this so bad. He won last year. He's the defending champion. And Tom Curren from Santa Barbara, California, the world champion. He's one to reckon with. Stubbies has a history of being a little bit different than a mass media event or something so removed. Can you put a finger on it? It's kind of a surfer's event, isn't it?
Yeah, it definitely is. And Stubbies have been with pro surfing since the beginning of it. And in fact, the Stubbies in Australia, the first man-on-man event in the history of surfing. That was back in 1977, and that they really set the pace, I guess, as far as being the original man-on-man event, and that's what we have today. And I've enjoyed the event down in Australia, and I've also enjoyed the event here and the Stubbies Trials event at Trestles, and they're pretty dedicated to pro surfing.
A great place to perform. Now, looking ahead all the way to the finals, how bad do you want to win this? Is it like any other event, or is there something extra?
I think there is maybe something a little extra for me. I've never really done all that well. I've done pretty well here. I've had a 3rd and a 5th. I've done well in the Stubbies events in Australia. I've won the last 2, and I think I'd like to do well here. I'd like to take to the finals, and I'll be trying very hard.
Stubbies in itself, I mean, Michelob sponsors a woman, but it's part of Stubbies. And I won the Stubbies in Australia at the beginning of this year, so I'm really looking forward to doing well in this event.
Every year I've been over here for the Stubbies, I've been impressed with the way they've run the contest. And this year is the same as the years past. They've just done a great job.
Robert Bartholomew, throwing a quick floater in. These guys take off, and that wave will break in front of them rather than drop down around the section. They'll throw it up into the air. What's called a floater rabbit, pumping his board. He's got an inside section now. He'll be moving his board. Normally characterized by the deep Allen Burn channel bottom. He's riding a flat bottom right now. There's Gary Clisby from Huntington Beach. Good big reaction by Gary. Gary's wearing a full suit. Rabbit's wearing a pair of trunks. What do you think that's all about?
Well, I talked with Rabbit earlier, and he's been really concentrating on his own sort of inner strength, and he thinks a lot of that has to do with his high metabolism.
Wayne goes for a big cover up on the outside. He falls back. Can he regain control? Yes, he's back on his feet. Incredible recovery by Wayne Bartholomew. Pulled into a tube, came out. That whitewater hit him, and he was just absolutely laying off the back of his board. Gary Clisby has priority. They're down under the 10-second mark. 6, 5. Can Gary catch it? 3, 2, 1, and he's up. So, Matt, big moves out there in the last seconds. Remember we talked about it. Gary caught that wave with 1 second left, and he rode it all the way through the inside, getting a great ride. Rabbit, I guess he thought maybe he could have caught one after that. Beautiful way to finish a wave. Gary Clisby from Huntington Beach.
Great heats coming up at the moment. Shane Horn and Glenn Winton, both Australians.
Wave. Shane taking off, and he's up and riding. Beautiful low bottom turn. Try to stay in the whitewater and try to connect this. Looking at moving his board back and forth. The wave isn't even breaking. There's not even a breaking lip on that wave, but he's worked it all the way through the inside. Shane Horn finishing up his first ride right in the shore break. Great first ride by Shane Horn. Big cutback. Glenn will be looking for that inside double up. He had a beautiful reform, and he's got a great left standing up ahead of him there. Look at him snapping his board. 3 big snaps right in a row. He's got a beautiful reform on the inside. The outside, Shane Horan. Shane Horan's up. Beautiful low backside bottom turn. One of the more dynamic parts of Shane's repertoire is that low, beautiful backside bottom turn and cutback. He gets down real low over his board. Look at that, pumping his board, driving all the way through the inside section. That was an incredible bit of reform surfing. And look at him. He's got the speed on the inside now. He's got a beautiful bull standing up ahead of him. He's surfing halfway down to the jetty. Incredible wave judgment. Gets a cover up and a floater off the lip. Great ride by Shane Horan. He's still going.
I think Glenn's going to spin and take the Sam. Real late drop for Glenn. We'll see if he can make that. Falls with the lip. Big backside off the lip. And again.
Big figure 8 there. That was nice.
That's called a figure 8 when they actually complete a double 180-degree turn back and forth. That's called a figure 8. And we saw a textbook figure 8 there by Glenn Winton.
Straight down to the bottom, flying off the top. One of the best re-entries of the morning. Martin Potter. Big move for Martin on the outside.
He's going to be trying to make that connection to the inside. Again, this was a board designed specifically for this break. And it seems to be working quite well. I saw him warming up last night. And he's real happy with his performance. Let's see what he does here on the inside. He's got plenty of speed. A trademark roundhouse cut back. That's Michael Burness, Sam, all the way from South Africa. Oh, he timed that beautifully. I thought he was going to miss that off the lip, but didn't look like he could recover from it. On the outside, Great Britain's Martin Potter.
Now Martin goes straight down and throws it up in the whitewater, completely past vertical. That was past vertical. Radical, 2 radical re-entries by both.
Gotta use that one.
I've seen Martin Potter do that, Sam, in waves from 1 foot to 10 foot. He is one of the most feared competitors at a break called Bell's Beach, where an opportunity like that presents itself all the time. Martin Potter, another vertical off flip on the inside.
Surfers riding back to back now. Martin Potter slips on a backside re-entry. Meanwhile, Mike Burness has a beautiful left lining up for himself to the inside. He's going very fast. Looks over the whitewater, grabs the rail.
Recently, just to be able to connect some of these flat sections out there, a little bit more speed to it, a little bit higher rail. He tends to ride a very narrow board and real sensitive board. So that's mainly what we work on. We work on keeping this board sensitive, fast, and keep that ability to keep the board moving from side to side. And of course, the big thing with Tommy is his big moves on the outside, and we always want to make the boards so that they do that really well. They come off the bottom well, and they come off the top real well. We're just trying to put those combinations together, and he has a lot of boards. He goes around and plays between a lot of them. We do a lot of designing when he comes home. So.
Does he get nervous? He seems to be so cool, calm, and collected before and after each heat.
Now, Tom can get real nervous at times, depending on who he has to surf against.
This is our
Brad Gerlach,
defending champion, Sam. Brad Gerlach.
Hey, you skaters. Check out the action out in the water. That's Brad Gerlach ripping his way through. He's doing a few edgers, a few bionic grinders. He hits a head dip. Goes for a gnarly sketch here on the inside. Beautiful off the lip. Brad Gerlach on his first long ride, and a hot one it was. He's a
We have a takeoff from world champion Tom Curren.
Tom's up and riding, getting a lot of speed, looking for that big vertical re-entry. Nice cutback combination that marks the Curren style. Tom, see him check over his shoulder there, looking for the reform. He wants to stay with the whitewater so he can connect the inside. He's moving his board back and forth. That was very interesting. Sometimes these guys just sort of check out of the corner of their eye. Tommy actually turned his head and looked in which direction he wanted to go. 3 big re-entries from Tom Curren. That's Brad, man. Brad right in the bowl. He's taking a late drop in the whitewater, going straight down to the bottom and off the top. Getting covered up with a little head dip. That was a little style there. Nice roundhouse.
Interesting move, that head dip, Sam. Usually surfers elect to weave back and forth and try to get the inside, but Brad getting his head wet there, ducking it into the whitewater, showing a great deal of control.
He's really working the reform well. That wave a little slow in the midsection, but he's working the reform very well and gets a good long ride.
And yes, he's got it, Sam. We've got a takeoff from our world champion.
Okay, a nice little fade. Goes left and right. Bangs it off the top. Look at the spray he throws. Every move counts now. Brad has racked up some of those inside waves, getting some good maneuvers. Tommy on a set wave here. Look at him, light on his feet, moving through to the inside. You see him lining up. He's setting up for that big re-entry, and whoa, there it is, throwing a lot of spray. It actually rained back down on his head.
Tom Curren kicking out there on the inside.
Look at him set up for the inside there. Another big re-entry. Snapping back right in front of the photographer. Outside, though, Matt, looks like a big set. Tommy Curren goes for a late drop up in the whitewater. He's up on a left, and he's got about 19 seconds left. Brad Gerlach's sitting outside waiting for a wave. Brad's had plenty of rides. He knows that.
That late drop, Sam, very difficult, subtle maneuver.
We're under the 10-second mark, down to 7, 6, 5, 4. Brad's paddling for a wave. 3, 2, 1.
I've had to deal with Brad early in the rounds, practically every event I've surfed in. So that's one of the things that's hard for me this year, because Brad's a great surfer, and I always have to produce the top performance very early. So it keeps me on my toes, and I'm sure it's not the last time I'll be meeting him.
Okay, producing a top performance, a winning performance, letting your emotions reach an incredible competitive peak and just cutting loose. Are you going to drop down a notch or two in your next couple of heats?
That's a good question, and I don't know. Sometimes that happens, though. It happens where in a heat you go out and it's like a final, and then maybe you finally reach the final and you can't really put yourself up there again, and that happens. I wasn't. There were a few things wrong with my performance out there. I had a couple of times where I slipped off and I didn't get the right waves, whatnot. I think Brad had a pretty unlucky heat. I don't think he was too happy with his performance either. After coming off a couple of weeks of resting and then going right in there, I think I'm building up a little bit more and more each heat.
Taking off in the whitewater, Mark Occhilupo. Nice snap off the top, working on his backside there. Roundhouse cutback. I want to keep his board moving until he gets through to the inside. And he's got another beautiful little lineup on the inside there. See him check over his shoulder there, looking whether to go left or right. Looks like the right was a little longer. Big backside re-entry, Mark Occhilupo. All right, Dave's up and riding on his first wave. I was going to say it's really not a heat between Mark Occhilupo and anyone at this point. Mark Occhilupo riding by himself, but Dave has picked up his first ride. And he's moving through to the inside here. Dave, a very powerful surfer, carves long turns, gets a lot of speed out of his board. Perhaps not as vertical a surfer as Mark Occhilupo, but plenty of lateral speed. Slashing that wave very nicely, riding it all the way through the inside. Watch it as he buries his rail, a difficult thing to do in these conditions. Occhilupo from Carroll, Australia, big backside re-entry. One of the most exciting backside surfers in the world. Occy's third wave, and he's got a beautiful little left line up here for himself. He's going to double up on the inside. Nice floater off the lip. Another whitewater turn. This Dave Parmenter's third ride. Big backside re-entry up.
The hardest heat usually is the first one up, Your first round's the hardest one, and if you get through there, that one, you get a rhythm going.
The strategy, you're not on a roll, but you are. You're leading, but you want more wins. There's not that many wins you've had.
No, I haven't had too many. It's been different because I've won a AA event, and I shot up in the ratings because of that. But I'd like it to win a few more events, for sure.
The conditions out here at Oceanside are obviously different than what you got in Brazil last week and what you might get in Japan next week. Do you take a whole series of boards with you for...
No, I don't. The conditions change, but I only have one board. It's, if you change boards all the time, you got to get used to one board. I only have one.
Your philosophy now, going out into a heat, they allow you 10 waves, but you want to get 4.
Yeah.
Okay, you think about certain things?
Yeah, well, usually you can't catch 10. There's a lot of waves to catch. You only think about catching 4 good waves. Yeah.
Okay, the time limit, 30 minutes in these heats right now, it's kind of tight, but you're still trying for 4 good waves. Do you know what these judges want? You see these judges week in and week out. Do you know the moves that you can do that score high?
Well, yeah, you know what they want. I mean, they vary. They change judging, but you've just got to surf your best and see how they judge you, you know.
The contest here at Stubbies, how bad do you want to win it?
Pretty bad. Yep.
Well, Jerry, sounds like we're going to at least have some surf exactly the same size. We're seeing West Lanes here across a beautiful wall here, so you're projecting the swell to remain just about where it is, so it looks like we're going to have some great surfing coming out.
Yeah, pretty much. Perhaps dropping a foot or so, but it's pretty much the same thing you have right now, an occasional 4, even occasional sneakers that are around 10 high to the through, but yeah, the wind swell's going to build big.
Dave MaCauly just recently won the Hang Loose contest in Brazil. Came out of nowhere and won an event. All of us back in California here, we had the results wired to us. Dave MaCauly first. Most people said, who? What? What are you talking about? Well, this is what we're talking about right there with that big backside reentry. Dave MaCauly, the high young surfer from Western Australia. West Lane, he waited a long time for that wave, and he got off to a good start. Look at the spray he throws in that white water. He's a big boy. And he puts his weight into a turn, he really displaces some water. Outside, White, Dave MaCauly. Look at this left, he's going to connect. Big snap, he could have done a floater there, but he elected to do that big radical snap. MaCauly riding the same board he's ridden all year. He rode that in Africa, he took it to Brazil, now he's riding it off Oceanside. It's an old faithful, and he's getting a great ride himself here. Yeah. Big slash.
I've known Dave for quite a few years, and I've surfed against him for a few years, even though he hasn't been on the professional scene. I competed against him when he was an amateur in Australia, and I've always known he's a really good surfer, and I've got a lot of respect for him. My strategy in that heat was just to hopefully go out and find the best waves, and I had some waves I was pretty happy with, but that one that Dave got at the end might make the difference.
It's quite good being a bit of an underdog, you know. You've really got nothing to lose, so just go out and if you lose, it doesn't matter. If you win, it's a real bonus.
Mearig Davis with a big rail edge cut back there. Mearig did a great job with the big floater reentries on the inside. Outside of the set wave, Charlie Coon. So we have both young surfers riding simultaneously here. Mearig is going left now. Look at that beautiful left on the inside, streaking across. Really hanging in there. Big upside down reentry on his first wave, Mearig Davis.
Extremely late takeoff there for Florida's Charlie Coon from the Cocoa Beach area of Florida. The outside, that is Mearig Davis from Queens Cliff, Australia. Really tearing it around. You'll see that characteristic Australian style, which is extremely aggressive, very involved, and very, very close to the hook. Mearig Davis moving under the inside, has a little pocket there. His break almost more like his home break than his own home break. Currently our champion is American Tom Curren, but you can bet every one of these surfers has his eye on the top. Having his eye on this wave, that is Mearig. In red. It's Charlie Coon, I'm sorry, that's not Mearig Davis, that is Charlie Coon. We're having some increasing glare conditions here, but certainly isn't slowing down the performance. Cover up there on the inside. America's Charlie Coon.
Thank you. That is that's the creator of Surfline. He's up here talking to us about the 12th edition, and he's assured us that we're just going to get, it's not going to get huge, but it's going to stay about the same.
He's got a beautiful little left on the inside. There's that big backside reentry. 2 in a row. 3. Jerry didn't waste any time. 4. of them in space of one little reform on the inside. On the outside, Tom Carroll, late drop. Trying to connect those sections, has one good dig off the lip. Incredibly low cutback of Tom Carroll. He gets so low, it's hard to believe that he can still maintain his balance. He's moving through the inside. You see that double up forming in front of him. Now he's got a beautiful little left in the same place where Kong had his. Great roundhouse cutback. Big whitewater re-entry. Down, back up, through to the inside for a couple more off the lips. He's milking that wave for every little bit of energy, and he steps off the inside. Started out slow, but he's really coming on strong, while outside on the left, Tom Carroll's riding. Look at that direction change on the outside. Gary's got a wave through to the inside, though. And he's got another beautiful left reform. Look at those instant direction changes.
Stubbies event is special to a lot of people, special people, meaning the handicap and whatnot. Jim Watson here, the director of the event. Jim, why a handicap viewer zone? Why did that come about?
Well, a few years ago, a good friend of mine, Gerry Clisby, was in a tragic accident, and Gerry had always come to the events as an amateur and when he was a kid, and I just said, Gerry, you don't have to miss the event. We'll build an area for you, and it's just become a tradition since then.
So this area now, I saw a lot of students, a lot of special and handicapped people here watching the surfing. They do enjoy it. The atmosphere is great, and what is amazing now that instead of Gerry Clisby sitting up there, he is competing in the semifinals this morning.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Gerry, for those of us that know him, it's not too much of a surprise. He's got that willpower, and he's got a strong family, and he's got the support behind him. So it was just get over one hurdle and on to the next one, and I think he's just looking at the next heat now.
Briefly, let's talk about the hurdle. He was going surfing with his pals up in Malibu at a very early morning, and a drunk driver being pursued by police. They were hit head-on, and he actually died 3 times en route to the hospital.
Yeah, I'm not really sure how many times. His wheel never died, and that's the main thing. But clinically, he was dead on the life flight helicopter ride to UCLA. It's unfortunate that it happened, and it's real fortunate for what it's taught a lot of other kids around, and that you don't give up when something like that happens.
And knowing him today and how he's surfing, a lot of people said he is so proud, just so happy to be in the contest and surfing with Tommy Curren in the semifinals. Your feeling, you must be real proud about this.
Well, if I sign a check today for $4,000 to somebody, I'd like to see Gerry's name on it.
All right, thank you very much. It's excellent. You do a great job here at the beach, and this is a special contest.
It's a good time. Hope everybody has a safe, fun weekend. That's about it.
So we have 2 minutes remaining.
Right now, up and riding on surfing priority in red, that's world champion Tom Curren. He's up on the first wave of the heat, pumping his board. You've seen those waves back off dramatically in the flat sections. Tommy really pumping and driving over an incredible flat spot, man. I can't believe he made it through there.
Neither can I. Last night I was talking about that with Tommy, and he was really going to try and increase that bouncing and that turning to get through that flat spot.
Set popping up, and it looks like Gerry's going to spin around and go for it. Gerry, the goofy foot, going left, heading for that bowl like I was talking about. Big radical move off that right. Recovers in the whitewater. These surfers trying to connect with that big outside move and then the inside reform. He's got a beautiful reform on the inside. Gerry Clisby really going for it here. Oh, and he catches a rail.
Right there, Sam, figure 8. There's another one. Swallowing around those water photographers. And you see Tom doesn't let you, and he's going to bounce back and forth and swerve and switch that way back and forth to get to the inside and try to set up a figure 8 on the inside.
First ball, Gerry Clisby. Big vertical re-entry from Gerry there, straight up and down.
Gerry Clisby with strong challengers at the beach.
Clisby up.
Gerry seems to be in great conditions. And looks like he's putting up a strong challenge here. He's got a nice inside wave. He's working over nicely. Riding down to the south.
Here's that big Curren snap. People wait for it when you see him go low and slow off the bottom there, where he actually builds up that momentum and then rockets up the top. You can look forward to that big snap where he actually goes in more than
180 degrees turn that. He goes more than straight up. He's shooting inside.
Straight up kind of describes the way that Gerry surfs some of these waves. Straight up and down, a very vertical surfer. On the outside, on a nice clean wave of his own. Tom Curren, straight up, straight down. Both these guys really pouring it on now. Gerry's got through to the inside. A little backwash there, and he'll finish off the wave with one more big upside down. Now moving through the section, Tom Curren, another vertical re-entry, a snapback. And he'll do a nice little head dip and finish up right next to Gerry under the 10-second. Gerry's paddling in. Yeah. I don't think he's going to be able to get another wave. 3, 2, 1.
Well, from a lot of the surfers on the beach, they saw that first wave. Was the photographer in your way, possibly? Did he, maybe not in your way, but lost your concentration seeing him on the face of the wave?
I don't know. It's all over now. I don't know. I was a bit nervous this first wave of the heat. A lot of things put together. I don't know. It doesn't matter.
You know, coming into the finals, you had a lot of time to think about it. Did you change your game plan any? You've been surfing great this entire contest, and did you change it for Tom Curren, saying, well, I'm going to have to totally cut loose, or I'm going to have to surf this way?
I wanted to go out and surf a real solid heat, but having a really bad first wave, I got kind of flustered, and from there on out, it was kind of downhill, but I'm glad to get third.
You're real happy about that, aren't you? You feel good about this contest?
Oh, yeah, I'm happy with the result. Learned a lot, and on to the next contest in Japan.
A lot of thousands of people on the beach here really rooting for you and appreciate your surfing.
All right, thanks a lot.
Gary Clisby from Huntington Beach, California.
MaCauly, that young surfer from Western Australia. Look at those backside re-entries, 2 in a row.
Don't shake it.
He's on a real winning streak, Matt. He has won every heat he has surfed in throughout 2 contests in a row now. He's all the way up to the semis. You can bet he doesn't want to stop here. Great opening ride by Dave MaCauly.
Both these surfers goofy foot, Sam, meaning that they ride with their right foot forward.
Wants to get a first wave under his belt. He's paddling, he's up, going on his backside, Matt. There's Tom Carroll. Look for that powerful maneuvers that we were talking about, and he digs around. And he has priority. He's sitting up there. He wants this wave, another fast backside wave. Floats up over that section. Very sure-footed, agile young surfer. He's not the biggest bone surfer in the tour. He's not a real powerhouse. Two in a row there. Dave MaCauly from Western Australia. This young surfer is really on a roll. He's going left for the first time. Look at right as he gets to his speed, he snaps a big re-entry and then cuts back. He's going to want to stay with that whitewater there, keep that connection going. This is the first initial left drive we've seen from Tommy. Ordinarily, he takes off and goes backside. Comes to his board. He's got that inside connection. Look at that beautiful little glassy wall he's got for himself. There's one of those big, gougy roundhouse cutbacks that he's famous for, 2 right in a row. Finds stuff in fashion. Dave MaCauly, look at him paddle, look at him churning into that wave. Incredible, he caught that thing, but he did. And now he's up and running. This is his 3rd wave or 4th wave, I think. Moving smoothly. Look at him throw that spray through about 10 feet in front of him. Back and forth, up and down, moving through the inside, on the outside. A big set. Like I said, dead flat. The next thing you know, the lineup's alive with whitewater. And flashing surfers, Dave MaCauly, a good wave all the way to the beach. Tom Carroll, look at him gauging the wave, going back and forth. He decides to go backside, building up speed. You see him set up for that one last big re-entry. You can see that coming.
That's nice.
They come into the inside, the wave gets ready to close out. Surfer's sitting right next to it, in fact, and he's taking off on a wave. This could be a very important wave for Dave MaCauly from Western Australia. Big whitewater move.
That was the Clisby move.
There as he covered up to the inside. And now he's trying to make that connection, Sam, with the inside. Up and riding on the outside, counter-punching. That's 2-time world champion Tom Carroll. So we've got both surfers up and riding. Big inside move by Dave MaCauly. You see him, and on the outside, Tommy Carroll's got a wave that hasn't really broken yet, but it's lining up into a beautiful left. Dave MaCauly riding right up onto the sail. These guys have about a minute to go. Tom Carroll knows that this is a very important wave for him, too. These guys matching each other wave for wave. Only got 5 seconds to do it. 3. Can he get it in time? He's up.
Good job, Dave. How do you feel?
Well, I had a great start, and then I fell on a wave about in the middle of the heat, and lost a lot of rhythm, and Tom Carroll caught up. He got a couple of good waves, and it was really close toward the end. My fourth wave wasn't very solid, and I think Tom's fourth wave wasn't either, so I think it'll be really close. I couldn't say.
Did anything go wrong? What went right out there for you? With your game plan?
Well, I got priority at the beginning of the heat, which is good, and I got a good wave at the start. And Tom fell on his first, and then I got another good wave, and that was going great. And then it all seemed to fall apart in the middle of the heat.
Okay, what's been the key? 14 man-on-man heat victories. You're on an incredible string. We don't know about this last heat, but what's been the key for your great success?
God is my strength.
All right, congratulations. Best of luck in this heat.
Thanks a lot.
Dave MaCauly. And right over here, two-time world champ Tom Carroll. And Tom Carroll wants to get into the final to meet Tommy Curren. Tommy, you had some great waves out there. You had a couple falls, but then everybody out there this morning has gone down. The waves there, they're so fickle. They're kind of round. You really can catch a rail out there, can't you?
Yeah. Well, basically it's just really difficult conditions, you know. You've got to sit out there and wait. Let yourself all calm down. Not too calm. You can't be too calm. You can't be too amped up. You got to wait for that wave. It's the ultimate test in patience. You've got to sit out there and just literally sort of stop yourself from ripping your insides out and wait for that wave that Mother Nature's going to send our way. And whether it comes to the left or the right, you just got to keep yourself as sharp as a hawk's eye out there, and make sure that water's not going to do something you aren't going to be able to see.
MaCauly's not sure what happened. He says it can go either way. How do you feel?
I don't feel confident. I couldn't get the set wave straight off. He had priority straight off, which gives you a bit of an advantage in the heat. On an inconsistent surf base, you've got to go out there. If you've got priority straight away, you're going to get the first set that comes through, and the other person's got to suffer, especially when there's only one wave set. So he's got to hang out there for another, possibly from 3 to 8 minutes out there. The set's coming through. That's the gap between each set. And when you ain't got priority, first off, you've got to sort of wait half your third of your heat almost sometimes for a wave, the next wave.
Best of luck.
Yeah, thanks, Dave.
Tom Carroll, two-time world champion. He has been the runner-up here the last 2 years. He wants to make it into the final, but right now, the semifinal, tough matchup he just had. Let's hear the judge's decision.
Looks like a nice wave too. Got some walls, she's working it. Keeps the board moving, needs the speed. You've got to pump that board. Pump it. Yeah, look, maybe she's over the inside. No. Frustration. Mearig takes up at the back. She's answering with a wave of her own. Flattens out a bit, but she's still going to weave it through the inside. Kim has this uncanny ability to make it through these flat spots. She surfs very fast and light on her feet, and she's right through to the inside. To the floater. Nice wave by Kim. Should be pretty happy with that one.
And we have someone on the right.
George Smith on another great wave. Let's cut back to Jonathan. Right on the inside. Great wave. Rolling up. Got the right section. Really excited about it. Big re-entry. Quite pleased with that.
And Kim Mearig taking off. Nice wave outside. And the first wave was set.
Somebody's shaking the scaffold.
Right she can. There's a really flat spot there, but she's bouncing. Looks like she's got the connection. Yes. Watch Kim streak through the section. Should get the re-entry on the inside. Yeah, nice little floater. So we'll be pretty happy with that one. George Smith riding at the back. He looks like he's got another connection. Right through the inside, maybe the wave's getting better. Another wave, right through. Working onto the inside section, big re-entry. Hands on, 10 minutes, we'll have the whole in. Nice wave from him. Speed, nice cut back. Keep it moving. Really bouncing. Looks like looks like some connection right through. Getting some speed on the inside. And she'll go for the big floater. She makes that one. And there's 5 minutes to go for this wave. 12 seconds. 10.
Kim, how do you think you did? It seems like it's real close.
It's hard to say. It was so frustrating out there. There wasn't any waves about the first half hour of the heat, and the whole heat was just there at the end. That was the best waves of the whole heat, so let's see. I don't know how she did.
Well, the heat started off pretty slow and kind of came on towards the end with that reform kind of gave both of us a lot of trouble. So I don't know how it's going to go. So.
How does that affect your strategy when the waves are so inconsistent? How do you deal with that when you're out there?
Well, luckily this was an hour heat, so it's pretty easy to pace ourselves for just 6 waves. So I don't know. I just tried to pace myself and tried to get the sets, biggest waves.
Well, best of luck to you.
Thank you very much.
Tom Curren, he's fading, going left, banging it off the top with a big re-entry. Then he'll pump and drive his board through the whitewater. On the outside, all by
which way?
Tom Carroll, he'll be following up so we get simultaneous ride. A big re-entry for Tom Carroll as well. Tom Curren on the inside, floating over the section, moving through. Another big re-entry on the inside, floating down, great ride, moving his board back and forth, out the back. And he's faced now Tom Carroll. Tom Carroll matching Tommy move for move with those big re-entries.
Shut up.
They're ending up within inches of each other after 2 separate waves. Back-to-back rides for these great champions. He's going to want to stay in the whitewater there. That's where the waves the fastest were still breaking. These back-off conditions, very treacherous. He's pumping his board, driving, trying to get through the inside, and it looks like he's not going to have any problem there, man. He's through the inside. He's got the racetrack. He's stopping a big floating re-entry.
Another one that's deciding right here is Tom Carroll showing a great deal of wave judgment and using his priority. Back shot too, big vertical off the lips, and Sam, it truly is quite a clash of the tides. 2 world champions, really showing us what championship surfing is all about here. This is Tom Carroll. He's moved his way onto the inside. It's his 3rd vertical snap.
Roundhouse cutback. On the outside, they're riding back to back. No, Tommy Carroll decides not to take it. There he is right now, riding on his backside. Big re-entry. Look at that. Man, that was past vertical.
No doubt about that, Sam. And it's the new surfboard design that allowed the surfing to get actually upside down out there.
Which way?
Gravity. Another takeoff on the outside. World champion Tom Carroll. Tom Curren answering with an off the lip of his own. Both surfers up and riding. One goofy foot, one regular foot. A great time to compare these great styles of two great champions.
Okay, you see Tom Carroll on the inside there. He missed a re-entry like that earlier. That time he actually got lower to his board and he pulled it off. Tom Curren outside wanting to finish away. Big backside re-entry. Look at that figure eight. Front side, backside. Front side again. And look, he's heading right for Tommy. He kicks out right in front of him. Another great exchange from these two champions. And look at him hustling back out to the lineup.
It's going to be a race for that priority buoy, Sam. There's no doubt about that. Both these surfers are incredibly fit, but I'll tell you something. These tricky conditions out here could really affect that. We see Tom Curren churning his way out. Tom Carroll paddling as well.
Curren does have priority. He's paddling. He's up and into it, and he's riding. He's got another right. These guys methodically racking up these waves. Big snap on the inside. Floats over the whitewater. Look how effortlessly Curren floats over that whitewater. And he heads up over it. Underweight his board. Actually gains speed in the whitewater. There's a lot more air in the water. When it breaks like that, and he can actually build up speed because there's less resistance. Another big snap. Another 10-foot ride. Tom Carroll up on his fourth ride. Big backside slash. That powerful low center of gravity that he uses to drive his board near the inside. The wave is fading out. Can Tommy stay with it?
I've been riding here. American world champion Tom Curren. I think it's big off the lip. Yeah. Trademark front side off the lip by Tom Curren. Stitching his board back and forth. Hopping, trying to make it on the inside. Section on the inside. Pretty sneaky attempt here.
Yeah, that's also. Yeah, but it's a good ride, Tom Carroll. He's trying to pull it back in. He knows he's got to get through that inside. Look at delicately balancing his board. He made it through the inside connection. Now he's got some room to move. There's one of those big snapbacks. Hitting an inside pull, another big re-entry. Drops through with the lift. Finished off with a whitewater move.
Tommy Curren, he's paddling. Yep, he's up and riding.
Up on the right now. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And that's it, Matt. That's it for the grand final. How about a great big hand for these two fine competitors? Champions each.
Hey, how do you think we got these stickers?
We got plenty of action coming our way. That's Tom Curren. He's making his way to the scaffold.
Yeah, you got it.
Enormously popular champion. American world champion. Of course, the youngest world champion ever. Ladies and gentlemen, a big hand for Tom Curren. Let's talk about we got a great day. We timed the final so that we're going to have plenty of time to enjoy the rest of the day here at the beach. A lot of times these contests get over like right about 5 o'clock in the evening or at school. But we're all wrapped up here and it's barely noon. We're going to have plenty. This is Stubbies' third contest here at Oceanside. And we're real proud to be bringing it to you. So we have California team. Now you want to get together and put on something special. Well, this is the time that we've all been waiting for, so to speak. When you think about it, we started out a week ago with a lot of hungry surfers, a lot of hungry spectators as well. But now it's all over. And there's always sort of a feeling of anticlimax at this stage, but that's going to come after the cheering has died down for these true champions. Actually, we have 4 great champions up here, the 4 finalists, 2 in the women, 2 in the men. The Stubbies is a real special event, especially from the surfers. You can feel the spirit and feel the vibes. And it's not just the surfers, it's all the people that come, all the people that are part of this great event. You can feel it. And there's no other way to put it, actually, than that the Stubbies Pro is a surfers contest. And that's the vibe, and that's the spirit, and that's what we're all about. And we'd just like to thank you all for being a part of it. Okay, so the awards, they're coming down now. We won't keep you waiting any longer. And before we get right into that, though, I'd like to introduce a man that has been working tirelessly this whole week. Applause for Mr. Gary Linden. He did a great job. Right on, Gary.
Thanks, Sam. And thank all of you for coming. I hope you had a good time. On behalf of Stubbies and all the rest of our sponsors, we'd like to call out Mayor Bagley of Oceanside. Bagley presenting the trophies. I'll turn it over to Mayor Bagley now. I get to announce the winners here. Well, it's been
a tremendous competition. It's been a tremendous week, and you've been a tremendously good crowd. Let me thank you on behalf of the city of Oceanside. Now I think you're waiting to hear who is the winner of the Michelob Cup. I have Georgia on my mind. Georgia Smith, 5-0. You won?
Well, on behalf of the Michelob Cup, I think Georgia and Kim are pretty surprised by that bottle opening. But we have 2 checks, one for Kim Mearig and one for Georgia Smith, and we're really happy to be part of this Stubbies event.
Georgia, this is your first pro win. I am so excited for you.
Me too. I'm really excited. You know, I've been waiting a long time. But, you know, this is the beginning of my 2nd year on the tour, and you know, I think finally, you know, something's going to happen.
You notice they don't give me the check to give to them. I wonder about that. Tommy Carroll, this is the 3rd time we've been up here together. Good to see you again. Tommy? Oh, okay. Well, I do get to make the cash award this time. Well, Mr. Carroll, you and I, as I said, have been up here 3 times, and I hope we get up here a 4th time, because this time we have to give the first prize to Tommy Curren.
Big round of applause for former 2-time world champion Tom Carroll, 2nd place. A great performance.
What happened out there was basically it was a great heat, I guess, up until about halfway through, and the surf kind of disintegrated. Fortunately enough, I was able to find the right peaks at the beginning of the heat, and I found the good momentum and carried it right through.
Yeah, it looked that way. Tommy Carroll, you probably spent more time surfing out there alone than anyone since Phil Edwards. How do you like to surf here in Oceanside?
You know, I'm frustrating why we were surf, but it's a very successful spot for me, but I don't know, that final is very, very hard. The second half, I felt very strong at the beginning. I couldn't find the ways. I actually paddled over the North Peak, said I'd come over on the south, and paddle over the south and turn up on the north. So,
a partisan set out there, obviously. Well, listen, are we going to see you here next year in the final?
Yeah, definitely. Thanks, Oceanside.
And so that's it for the 1986 Stubbies Pro.
Congratulations going to Tom Curren. I don't know if you've seen the board over there, but you've now moved into the lead in the points ratings on the World Tour. Congratulations.
Thank you. I didn't know that.
Okay, now you're in the lead. To stay there, you've got to surf consistently. You've done it all week long here at the Stubbies, but what was the turning point? One heat that stands out in your mind?
Well, that's hard to say. I think I was looking at Martin Potter as being a real threat in this contest. Maybe that was probably the heat that I knew I had to get through, and if I could get through that one, I might go all the way.
And you know, and you've said it in past interviews, that you can let yourself down after you do conquer a Martin Potter, and you don't look that far ahead. Okay, Tom Carroll, he came on so strong. Did you feel that he was beating you in the first 15-20 minutes? A lot of people said, hey, he's got the upper hand on Curren, leading 15 minutes into this final.
Yeah, I started out with priority. I had the first wave, and I think my wave was maybe a little bit inferior to his first wave, and then I came right out, got my second wave, which was a smaller wave, and he came back with a better wave by far than my second one. So at that point, it was pretty, he was definitely in the lead, and I guess one thing I really looked at was that you need the 6 waves and the 6 real strong ones to get through, and I worked on that. Fortunately for me, he spent a lot of time sitting and waiting while I fortunately found the right peak. So that was really where I guess the whole thing turned.
The key to surfing out there, obviously these waves are different. There is a flat spot in there. Was it not catching a rail and trying to keep your speed up?
Yeah, that's true. And you know, the equipment I have for this contest was really made for getting across those flat sections and, you know, maintaining a bit of speed, even though the wave would get pretty slow. So, you know, that's one thing that I guess I had in my favor is you know, is that and just maybe finding the right waves and being able to glide all the way through.
Congratulations on a phenomenal year so far in all the contests Tommy's been in. He's had a 3rd, and the rest have been 1st places. That's quite an attribute. And anything you can say, is it just a whole new spirited? Is it mental or physical?
It's both. I think you know, I think it has a lot to do with what I did in France. I did a lot of training, and, you know, physically, if you can count on yourself physically, then you can go out and do anything your mind tells you to. So that it's, I guess, a combination of both.
Let's add a little point here. Your wife has been surfing in the World Amateur Championships in England. Did she give you a call? How'd she do?
She called, but I missed it. I was here competing, so I'm sort of touch and go. I don't really know what happened over there, so I'm going to head home and try and find out.
Well, you've got news for her.
Yeah.
Best of luck. Tommy Curren winning here at the Stubbies. 3rd place last year, 1st place this year, now currently leading in the World Tour.